When should a person you're dating tell you they have health issues? Welcome back to another episode of Undiagnosed Baddie, my daily 10-minute podcast. Now, let's go ahead and dive right into this question. It is imperative to me to know that you have major health issues, terminal health issues. And what do you consider, quote unquote, a health issue? Sometimes you could just look at people and see that they physically have health issues, right? You can tell by their skin. You can tell by the way they walk, by the way they talk, by the way their teeth look. And also, you have to pay attention to how their feet lean in their shoes because that leads to so many other health problems, right? I mean, the spine might be off, and all health problems are not necessarily deal breakers, but there are a lot of health problems that are deal breakers. And what I'm noticing is that there are a lot of men that have liver and kidney issues at young ages, which is causing them to have to be on dialysis or blood pressure medications. With that comes erectile dysfunction. So, how soon is too soon to let somebody know that you have these issues, right? So, I let people know all the time. I'll never stop talking about it. I'll never stop talking about how I was in a coma, had to learn how to walk again. My body is tight. And honestly, in my opinion, I need to be back in Pilates. Like Pilates is one of the things that helped me recover for sure. It is the only thing that helped me recover. That was my physical therapy, to be stretched out, to do the strength training. And a lot of people say you don't need Pilates every day, but when you're trying to recover, you absolutely do. Let's get into some of these other diseases. Like, what is an actual health issue, right? So this is where you come in the comments. What is an actual health issue that you would want someone to tell you about? Of course, the standard diseases, right? Oh, I have AIDS, or I have this, or I have that. But if you're a woman and you have autoimmune diseases such as lupus, if people have sickle cell, how soon do you think you should tell someone you have sickle cell? Because we already know in the black community, when you get two of those people together and they have the baby, and that baby goes through such a as their life progresses and into adulthood, that doesn't take away being an adult doesn't take away from someone being someone's baby. But when do you start discussing the medical issues that you have with someone? And is it before sex? Is it after sex? Is it after 3 months? Because sometimes people don't stay around long enough in the courting, dating time period to even divulge that information. And I'm sure that can be draining, having to say, hey, my name is Tamara. I have lupus, or my name is John and I have kidney failure every time, because in the back of your mind, at some point, you're going to be like, this is why they're not staying. So I'm not going to divulge this information, right? And then further down the line, it's just like, oh, wow, I wish you would have told me. I absolutely think that it is a choice that someone should have rather than finding out later. Like, I think once people start discussing becoming exclusive, whatever exclusive looks like and is defined by those two people, is when the discussion should be had. Because what are we really talking about here, right? So as I get older, there I have older, women on that participate in my podcast comments, and they hit me about different topics. And instead of texting me, y'all, instead of texting me, put in the comments different health issues that you've had with the men. We can even dive deeper into the health issues. I remember a long time ago when I was working at the MVA, I was dealing with someone and I was like, you know what? This ain't really working out, so I'm going to stop. I'm not going to deal with them no more. They came up to my job with their mom and was like, you're leaving me. You're leaving me. I'm going to kill myself. Like, y'all know how the MVA is set up, right? So in Maryland, if you're not from Maryland, the DMV, right? Motor Vehicle Administration or Department of Motor Vehicles, right? So you already know it's like all of the workers basically sit on the perimeter of the building, and then they have the rows of seats. So everybody could see this man talk about, I'm gonna kill myself if you don't take me back. And he's in there like, should I do it on camera for y'all? All right, I'm gonna put my drink down, right? So he's like, I'm gonna kill myself if you don't take me back. And he's like, ah, and I'm like, oh my God. So of course at this, it was crazy. So of course at this point, he came in with his mama, and I'm looking at her like, get your son. And so now everybody's looking this way, and they're trying to see what's going on. And I'm like, I had to act like I didn't know him. I was like, I don't know. He said he's gonna kill himself, right? So and that's when, in Maryland, security at MVA is actually the state troopers, the state police. And so it was a crazy experience. And then I never knew. Like, so I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to knowingly deal with anyone that's suicidal. Then further down and into like some relationships, I found out somebody that was dealing with was like, well, I think about it. Da, da, da. I don't want to deal with anybody that has suicidal ideations, has tried to commit, it didn't work, or even thought about the fact of just offing themselves, because with that becomes so much other, oh my gosh, weight that you're expected to carry and expected to uplift this person. And I'm not saying you don't love on your people and help them when they're going through tough times mentally. What I'm saying is, I, me, Big Bella, is not going to deal with someone knowingly that's suicidal. That's not for me. That's not my ministry. I'm not with it. The other person that I dealt with that was like that, it was just like, there were times, the women are going to be able to understand what I'm saying when I say this. You can see someone and they be handsome. And when they start going through their mental health crisis, you can see them change into something that they are not. You can physically see their face. You look at them and you say, oh, that's not their face. That's evilness. And you can see that when certain people go through certain mental health crises, right? I am not here and circling back to the women being older. Young ladies, young women, my girls of all over the world, what I want you to understand is that you are not intended to be someone's nurse. Do not take care of these men if you hadn't already been with them. There are a lot of men, I'm 42, and I say that all the time. There are a lot of men in this world that might be 50, 60, and they be like, oh yeah, young thing, I got all this money, da 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 da, and he's not telling you he's sick. Pay attention to the men, that are older and want these young things because they think they're getting a built-in nurse. Oh, I could pay the mortgage. Yeah, she got somewhere to live. She could take care of me. She could clean my colostomy bag. She can put out my pills. She gonna go to the store and get all the turkey because I can't eat beef and pork no more and da da da. And so now you're making way less as a girlfriend, right? As a home health aide, as the nurses, as the living facilities. What we have to do is start making sure that the generations of men coming up and the men that we're dealing with right now understand that that's not going to be us. That's not going to be us. The health issues. When do you tell someone? When do you tell someone, right? So I think that's just it's such a tricky thing depending on the severity of your health issue. What y'all think? Because I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, so earlier when I was like, you could look at somebody, when these men are walking around and they have these hard protruding stomachs, their liver's not working, their kidneys not working, they're not exercising, and you don't even have to go to the gym. I'm talking about going out for a walk, 15, 30 minutes a day. You have 30 minutes in your day to go for a walk. If you live in an apartment building, walk around the apartment building, go up and down the steps. You have to take care of yourself and make sure that you are not being manipulated into taking care of people that are sick under the guise of love. Y'all hear me?